Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? To date, I think it's December 10th, and it's probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock in the PM here in San Diego, California. So I'd like to do a nightly vlog, not because I'm looking for anybody to watch the channel or anybody to subscribe to the channel. I hate it when the first 5 minutes of every video is please like and subscribe. It just drives me nuts. Obviously, if you like the video, you're going to subscribe and like. I don't have to tell you that. So you'll never hear those words out of me. But I'd like to talk about things, and actually it's the benefit of doing these YouTube videos is for my own benefit. So I can talk about issues, I can research issues, and obviously when you research and talk about things, you want to know enough that when you're interesting so people will watch your video. So that gives me an opportunity to kind of push myself to make a nightly video and talk about things that I see as important, because there's a lot of important things going on right now. And I think the world's going to change in a big way here in a very few weeks, because you got Donald Trump coming into office, and he's saying some stuff right now that I don't know if it makes sense, how it's going to turn out, or where it's going to go. And anybody that's telling you that they have some idea how things are going to turn out, then they're lying to you, because nobody knows exactly how this is going to turn out with the wild things that he's saying, the wild things he's doing. Also, the other thing I want to say is Chase has set up a new site where if you want to earn crypto by just live streaming, I'm going to put the link below. And if you want to live stream and earn crypto at the same time, you can do that by this live stream, by this link that I'm putting below. And actually, that's probably the direction a lot of people are going, to earn crypto for everyday events that you're already doing. That's what I used to think with EOS. So as whatever you're doing during the day, all you need to do is just connect it up with a crypto, some way of generating crypto to pay you for your activity. So we used to do like geolocations, like if you were in a certain geolocation and you could authenticate that on the internet, then you can automatically earn crypto. That's the way we originally started a challenge to be. But now it's just whatever activity you're doing, just link it to some ability to make crypto or earn crypto while you're doing it. So it's a great way if you're a gamer or a streamer or whatever you're doing. You can just automatically earn crypto. The days of having jobs are over with. No one can do anything right now and make enough money to justify their time. I've made videos about this before. The days of having a job are ending. Mainly because nobody wants jobs. Because jobs mean you got to show up someplace. You got to be accountable for your time, and then you got to actually do something that benefits enough activity, enough income to where the person that's employing you, that has all the liability of employing you, can make some money from your activities, and you can make some money from your activities. And the margins on everything are so low right now, to do that is almost impossible. So if you're thinking about getting a job to make yourself a new life, or making yourself enough money to buy houses and cars and raise a family, those days are over with. They've been over with for a long, long time. You have to do something to either make it so your time is, you have residual benefits coming from the time you spend at the job, or you do something where you're making money for every little activity you do, like live streaming for crypto. That's a great way of doing it too. So anyway, I'll put the link below. He just got the site launched just a few weeks, or actually just a few days ago. So check it out if you're interested in live streaming for crypto. So what I want to talk about tonight are the two things I see most people talking about as far as the economy is concerned, is tariffs, and also this idea that Elon Musk has. In fact, they call it Doge, because he loves Dogecoin, because they made a lot of money from Dogecoin, and he saw a lot of people that were people that followed him were buying Doge, and of course he just would make a tweet or something, Doge would go up. I know a guy that made $2 million by buying Doge. Just bought a little bit of Doge. He's a car salesman. Guy worked as a car salesman, and he actually made $2 million buying and selling Dogecoin. And what's the funny part about it is when he really hit on Doge, he did it on his Robinhood. Robinhood locked his money, wouldn't give him his money, because they thought he was doing some sort of insider trading thing. So they had to do an investigation on him before they released his money. Took him about 3 months to get the money out, but eventually did get the money out, and he had benefited. He made about $2 million. And I think by the time he paid the tax, it came out about $1 million. But he did that on Doge. And the only reason he did it is because Elon Musk was making these tweets, and he was following. He was into cars, and he just followed Doge because he he followed Elon Musk and he followed Tesla. He had owned Tesla stock and he started buying Deutsche. The next thing you know, the guy makes that kind of money. So this Department of, what do they call it, Deutsche? Department of, anyway, it's a way of cutting money from the federal budget. The Department of, I can't remember what Deutsche stands for, but Department of, excess spending or cutting spending or something like that. He's supposed to be doing this with some other people too. It's almost like a WWE event. I think Dana White's going to be involved with it, and Elon Musk, and he's probably got a few other people that are involved that have no idea how anything works, and they'll be involved too. So I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about the tariff thing. The tariff thing, that's a pretty big subject by itself. So I used to have an import business. I actually imported roller shoes from China. These little things with wheels on them. That's why my email address is rollerusa@gmail.com, because I was importing roller shoes. And this was in the early 2000s. And I paid a tariff on those roller shoes that were being imported. And the tariff, actually the way it worked is I didn't pay a tariff directly to the company. I had a broker who helped me bring stuff in. And then he was the one that was responsible for paying all the fees and tariffs and all. And they had to be, the shipments had to be inspected too. So actually the Department of Homeland Security or whoever it was, the part that inspected shipments from overseas, they had this. So actually when I got so I would get a shipment, let's say a container, come to go to it went to China, not China. It came from China, but it went to Long Beach. And then I had to go to Long Beach and pick it up. And of course I had to have a broker, and then they usually held it for like a few weeks before I could get it. So they had to inspect it and make sure everything was right. So I'm familiar with how tariffs work. And the way the tariff worked is it was just tacked on to all the fees that I got when I picked up my shipment. So whatever fees there were, taxes that I had to pay and whatever other things, there was just a tariff involved with that. So what the tariff was just part of my cost of buying these shoes. And so whatever, I just divided out over the number of units of shoes that I had, and then I would use that to that's what my overhead was, and then whatever my overhead was, I had to build a profit into that, and then that profit would be part of my cost of doing business. So it just got passed on to whoever bought these roller shoes from me. So that whatever tariff Donald Trump's going to add to the imports that are coming into this country are just going to be directly passed on to you, just like I did when I had a broker, and it was just, I didn't even look at it. How much were my tariffs? I didn't know. It was just that, hey, if I paid $10 for a pair of shoes, and by the time I got all the fees and everything is done with it, it was $15 for a pair of shoes. Guess what? That was what I used as the cost basis for what I sold the product was. So it's $15, not $10, because of all the fees and tariffs and all the other stuff. It would end up being like maybe $14, $15. Well, that just got passed on to anybody that bought them from me. I sold them online, and that was what my cost of overhead was. So that's what's going to happen. So if he does this immediately after taking office, which is what he's threatening to do, you're going to see an immediate spike in all these things that are going to become tariffed. And what Trump is wanting to do is he wants to charge tariffs and then do away with like the IRS. So we will no longer have income tax, which I think is a great idea. It'll just be all these costs of fees raised through importing tariffs. They're just going to be used by the U.S. government, federal government, and then that money is going to be passed on or go to the federal government, which now they're going to run the federal government off the fees that they attach to these products that are coming in to the United States. And who's going to pay for it? You're going to pay for it. So if you're a consumer and you're buying something, you're going to pay to support or keep the federal government going by these fees, these tariffs that they're going to be charged. They're going to be directly, and this is going to be instant. It's not going to take a long time for this stuff to take effect. It's going to take effect instantly. So you're going to see the price of everything instantly go up the day that Donald Trump signs these tariffs into effect, and you're going to see the price of everything go up immediately because of the way tariffs work. It's just going to automatically be collected at the border, and then you're just going to pay it. And it's going to be just a part of the cost, like the shipping cost, the taxes, and everything else that gets deducted at the time you get your shipments, and tariffs are going to be part of it. So I see an immediate rise in prices of everything, which is going to really put a burden on the consumer right off the bat. And I'm going to have some music here, but let's get past it. It's actually Christmas time around here, so I got to make sure I don't get that. So yeah, that's a big thing. And I notice anytime anybody's putting up a video right now about tariffs, it's got tons of views because everybody's trying to figure out how tariffs work. Well, tariffs are going to work that there's going to be an immediate spike in the cost of everything that gets brought into this country that we use is going to immediately go up in price because of the effect of tariffs. The other thing is they're going to get rid of all these bureaucracies, all these government agencies, like the Department of Agriculture, the Department of the Department of Education. Get rid of all these. Elon Musk's going to do this with whoever he's working with, all these people that he's working with, all these people that think they know so much. I don't know how much they know, but he's going to mainly try to get these people to do all this stuff. And it sounds great. I listened to Musk the other day. It sounds terrific. He thinks he can cut $2 trillion from the U.S. budget. Just get rid of all these agencies, and they sound really, really, really interesting. Because for somebody that listens to, for somebody that's dealt with these agencies, the Department of Agriculture, you think it's just a lot of excess money that's being spent, and it is. Let me tell you, they get rid of the Department of Agriculture, and they go back to a free market system where nobody gets any support money for the products, the commodities that they grow. Man, what a crazy show that's going to be. That's going to be nothing but a complete disaster because these farmers are getting so subsidized for the products that they produce because of all the entanglements that are going on in our world. There's no free trade anymore. That's doesn't even exist anymore. So if you take everything away, all those subsidies away from everybody, nobody's going to produce anything because that's most of where the money's coming from is from the federal government with these subsidies. You get rid of all these Department of Agriculture and all these other the Department of Education, all these people that you can have a lot of people unemployed and a lot of people that weren't going to produce anything because there's no profit in it if it's just a free market and you're out there in the open market trying to sell corn or beans to some of these countries, and there's no subsidy involved. It's going to be a nightmare. And if you think Elon Musk's going to figure this out very quickly, yeah, lots of luck with that, my friend. He doesn't know any more about agriculture than he knows about the man on the moon. He doesn't know anything about this stuff. And the other thing, setting up the Department of we're getting rid of these agencies. It's going to set up other agencies that are just going to be crony agencies. So the people that are going to take over the void of some of these places that probably need to be now sorted out, or at least rethought out how they're going to be run. It's going to open up the door for people like Musk and some of his friends and cronies to take over and now have complete control over so much of the federal budget. And this is what's going to happen. And how this plays out, nobody knows. But it's not going to play out in a way that it just sounds so simple, like Elon Musk just goes ahead and takes over and cuts $2 trillion from the federal budget. Not that it doesn't need to be done, but it needs to be done in a way that people understand the ramifications of how it's going to, we have been this system has been so entrenched in all this bureaucracy for so many years. It's not just quick, get out a pen, slash all the federal agencies, and now just add tariffs to all the products coming in the country. That is a prescription, or that is what a prescription for nightmare. And I believe what's really going to happen is it's going to turn to a bigger dictatorship for somebody like Trump, and of course his friends are going to be feasting on this. This is what happened to the Soviet Union when they dissolved the Soviet Union, and they actually made everything, all the different agencies in the Soviet Union that were run by the communists, they just dissolved them, and now everything was kind of put on the open market, and you could buy stuff, shares in these different companies that used to be state companies. Now they're public or private companies, and you could buy shares in them. And so this is how these oligarchs took over. They just took over major like steel companies, energy companies, all these companies that used to be run by the state, that now are being held by individuals or by the public. Now they were taken over by people that become cronies of people like Putin. And now it just becomes an oligarchy, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to make this into an oligarchy. The United States is going to become just like the Soviet Union. Powerful people like Elon Musk and his friends are going to take over, and they're going to fill the void of what's happening now with all the bureaucracies. So I'm not saying this isn't something that needs to happen, but it sure as heck doesn't need to happen with somebody like Elon Musk and his friends. And Trump just can't just make these broad strokes without thinking about how he's going to do it. He can't say, I'm going to stop all this illegal immigration. I'm going to stop the drugs at the border. I'm going to stop all this stuff, and I'm just going to do it. And this is what I'm going to do, without giving specific information on how he's going to do it, or at least have a game plan for how he's going to do it. It's not going to work out the way he thinks it's. You just can't stick certain people with high-profile names like Elon Musk in charge and just say, oh, everybody's going to just buy it because Elon Musk is involved. Elon Musk has been very successful, so now he can automatically transition that success into running the federal budget and cut $2 trillion, and we're going to get rid of the IRS and all these federal agencies, and we're just going to do it overnight. It's going to happen day number one. Yeah, what's going to happen day number one is just more power for you, Donald Trump, more power for your dictatorship, and we're going to go right down the road of Nazi Germany. And that's the way. That's not that, Hitler didn't do anything good, because he did. When Hitler came into office, there was massive inflation in Weimar Germany. He got rid of the inflation. He did a lot of good things. He created the Autobahns. He created a car for everybody, the Volkswagen. He did a lot of good things along with all of the evil things that he did. But he just set himself up to make all the decisions like that. So we need to be very, very cognizant of what's happening and be very mindful, of what's going on, and make sure that, we don't just roll over and let Donald Trump just have a free ride because he won the election and now he controls both houses of Congress. And the judiciary too, the judges and all the other stuff. Yeah, he has a pretty wide control right now, so it's kind of scary. So yeah, I'd like to make videos about this every night, because it's going to be interesting to watch it, to see what's going to happen, because it's very scary times. And also, this idea, the job thing, I keep seeing more and more videos about people saying there's no jobs out there, and that's completely the case. There are no jobs out there. And how people make a living in the future is going to be very different than the way people make a living today, or have been making a living for a while. It's going to be way more stuff like I just mentioned, how you're going to live stream and make crypto or something like that will be the way people make money. Or just doing what I'm doing tonight, make a simple YouTube video. Doing stuff like this. This will be the way people make their money in the future. Not by going out and working for XYZ company and hoping to get enough salary to make a good living, and to have some sort of benefit when you retire or something, where you're just completely vested in this company. This company takes over your medical insurance or medical care. It takes care of all the different needs that you have. If you're a woman and you need to take off time to have a baby, that the company pays you for that. That's overhead that the company can't afford to take on right now in an economy with things being so, the economy being uncertain, and times being where there's not a lot of profit in a lot of things that people do. Especially the things, I tell you, I say this all the time, and I make a video about this exclusively. There will be a day when people will wake up and say, everything that I do to make money, I would have been better off if I would have just bought Bitcoin and just invested in Bitcoin and forgot about all the overhead that I used to make money. And that day's coming. In fact, that day's here now. It's just that most people don't understand it and they haven't figured it out. Michael Saylor figured it out, and let me tell you, I don't think Michael Saylor is hurting for money right now. Man, he bought a lot of that Bitcoin at 30,000. Now it's over 100,000. He's tripled his money. So, and what did he have to do for it? Just buy Bitcoin. So I think that's the case. And I think Bitcoin, every other investment that you have, that you make, it all has some sort of utility. You buy a stock. Let's say you buy a John Deere stock. You have to look at the business model. John Deere is a very interesting company right now, because they want to build plants overseas. They want to create plants overseas and cut their overhead by making products cheaper. Well, Donald Trump's going to say, no, you can't do that. You don't make John Deere tractors in the United States of America. Guess what? You're going to pay a huge tax for doing it overseas. So if you're going to invest in John Deere, you got to be very cognizant of this stuff. And you got to realize that John Deere's business model, has some negatives on it right now. So you can't just automatically say. So, but the one thing, as opposed to John Deere, which you got to look at all the intangibles, the tangibles, all the things affecting the economy and all the things affecting John Deere. It's bottom line right now. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's business model is, hey, it's scarce. It's money. It's used by, it could be used by anybody that can get all you need to do is get a wallet and transfer it over the internet. It's incredibly easy to use, and you don't have to look at a balance sheet on Bitcoin. You don't have to look at the board of directors on Bitcoin. You don't have to look at the shareholders in Bitcoin. You don't have to look at if tariffs are going to be involved with Bitcoin. None of that stuff affects Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just its own investment, its own idea, unique to anybody else without any kind of centralized control or any kind of centralized group of people involved. So I think the model for the future, if you just want to stay safe, buy Bitcoin, forget about your business, forget about investing in this economy right now that could be up or down or sideways, or we could have amazing amounts of inflation, or we could go into any kind of weird recession, depression, whatever you want to call it. I think Bitcoin is just the way to go. I appreciate you watching.